So we're going to come into child's pose. You can have support under the knees, wherever you might need it. And for the arm variation, if it feels okay, create a little pillow for your head so it's a little bit more supportive. And as you settle in here, we'll come into our breath, starting by taking a cleansing breath in through the nose, audible sigh out through the mouth. Again, deep breath in. Exhale everything out. One more time. Good morning, Kristen. Start to deepen your breathing here. And as you breathe, notice if you're holding any unnecessary tension. How's the jaw, the teeth, the face, the shoulders, the feet? Can you soften into your breath? As we begin our practice today, imagine what it is you want to release. What it is you want to call in or cultivate more of. And what it is you want to release. If you'd like, you can change your arm variation, maybe taking the elbows to the mat and the thumbs to the back of the neck, or any other position that might feel nice for you. Maybe it's that this position has started to feel really stiff. You can always come out of it slightly for the last few moments. Take another cleansing breath here. Very slowly in your own time, you're going to press yourself up into tabletop. Once you're here, take a moment, move in any way that feels good. So as we come out of these poses, we do so slowly. You might be feeling stiff or tight. You're just going to tune in and move in a way that feels nourishing to you. The next pose that we'll slide into is our heart opener. Knees and hips right on top of each other, walking the hands forward. Heart melts to the floor. There's lots of options. So maybe for the full version, the arms stay straight as the heart comes down to the floor. Maybe instead you bend your elbows so you're a little bit more supported. Just however you need. As you settle into each of the poses today, settle in, take a cleansing breath, welcome your body into this posture. Exhale, notice where and how you can release. Keeping the focus on the breath, breathing in, breathing out. Breathing consciously, breathing slowly. Know that you do not have to stay still in these poses. You can always add in movement. Knowing that you can always come out early. You do not have to be deep into the pose at all. And as your mind wanders, just bring it back to your breath. Breathing in, breathing out. Feeling into the pose. We're almost there with this one. 30 seconds left, just a couple of breaths. Taking your time, you're going to press yourself out of this posture. And again, any movement that you need. Maybe you want to take a downward facing dog. Maybe you just want to sit back towards your heels. No wrong answer. So from here, we're going to slide into our Sphinx pose. Modification for Sphinx is to actually put a pillow or a bolster or a couple blankets underneath the legs, so maybe kind of towards the shins. So it's still a back bend, but it's a little bit more subtle. So know that if you have any back issues or anything like that, that's an option. So imagine that this blanket was just a little thicker. I would come down and it would lift my legs slightly, and that would be what my back bend would be. Otherwise, you're going to come up to your elbows. Make sure that your elbows are directly underneath your shoulders. You're going to peel the heart forward so the shoulders come back and down. Maybe you're looking straight ahead, as long as that's not too much tension on the neck or the shoulders. And if it is, you're gonna look down at the ground or use a prop to support your head. If you feel this in the back, you can take your feet wider. You can also squeeze your glutes a little bit, or you can just come down to your belly. Take a deep breath, welcome your body here. So we have to stay active, obviously, through the shoulders, so we don't dump in. But at the same time, we want the body to be as passive as possible. Are you holding any tension in your hand? How is the neck? How's your breath? Breathing in, breathing out. Maybe in some of these poses, you're sitting with a little discomfort, not pain, but a little discomfort. Just notice how you respond to that sensation. No judgment, no attachment. You have the option to stay exactly where you are. If you want to take it a little further, you can come up into seal pose. Maybe you want to come down early, you can do that as well. So for seal, we're going to straighten the arms, press the mat away, shoulders down and back. Maybe the gaze is forward, maybe the gaze is down. If you come into this and it feels like it's a little too much, come back to where you were. Want to broaden the collarbones, keep pulling the heart forward. Just a few more breaths. Slow and steady. I'm trying to slow the breath down to about 8 breaths per minute. And wherever you're at, you're just going to lower all the way down. Make a pillow for your head. And just surrender into the mat. Let go of everything. Let go of any holding. I'm just going to hang out here in reverse Shavasana for a couple of breaths, feeling supported, feeling grounded. What does that feel like for you when you're feeling really grounded? When you're ready, you're going to slide your hands off to the side like you're coming into Cobra. Fingertips are behind the shoulders, elbows are in, spine is long. We're going to press up and back into a child's pose. And then we're going to find a little bit of a flow. You're in your child's pose. You're going to bend your elbows, peel the heart forward as you press up, lifting the heart and the tailbone. Rounding the spine. As you round the spine, sink back towards your child's pose. We're just making this circular motion. Bending into the elbows, sliding forward. Lift the heart, lift the tailbone. Rounding the spine. Take a couple more rounds. Feel free to add in other movement that your body might be craving. This is our last moment here in tabletop before we transition. When you're ready, we'll eventually transition up into seated. I encourage you to sit on something. So elevating the hips. We're going to take the legs out nice and wide. We're going to flex the toes. And I'm going to give you a handful of options here. So the pose that we're going into is to pivot to the left leg and just come forward. If this feels like too much, you can slide support under your knees. You can also bring this leg in and make it a little bit more of a twist. So depending upon how you're feeling, we're just folding over the left leg. While you get into that, I'm going to fix the camera. Apparently got messed up this weekend. I'm going to blame the earthquake. So we are just landing wherever our body stops. We're settling in with a deep breath. The spine can round, everything can be heavy. Maybe you add in movement, maybe you're just nice and still. Notice if there's any gripping anywhere in the body. Can you soften into that sensation? You can notice how the inhalation wants to just gently take your body out of the pose slightly. And as you exhale, the body wants to just settle in a little deeper. So there's this gentle ebb and flow, even in these poses that are still. Even when we feel stuck or stagnant, there's still progress being made. Things are still happening. A lot of times we're just kind of looking in the wrong direction, focusing on a smaller piece of the whole. Just about 8 more breaths here. Moving very slowly. You're going to stack the spine, find some length. And then to counter, we're just going to come to the opposite side. So whichever version you did, you're going to do that same thing here. If you have support under this knee, maybe move it to the opposite knee. And just find that spot. So you will find most likely that one side feels different than the other. You might have more space on one side than the other. Big breath. And look for those places where you can let go. Look for those places that are over gripping or holding on a little tighter than they need to. Always checking in with your face. Are you holding any tension in your eyebrows or your forehead, your lips or your teeth or your tongue? All of these places where our tension hides. It becomes so normal to carry tension that we don't know what it feels like to let it go sometimes. It's a practice. Last minute of breathing. Slow down your breath. Deep, slow, and steady. When you feel ready, you're going to take all the time you need. And slowly make your way back up. For this next one, we're going to come forward. And if that feels like it's too much, you're going to bring the soles of the feet together and have them further away from you. So you're either going to come forward from here, or you're going to slide these legs in and bring them together and come into more of a bound angle. So choose your pose. And then melt into it. breath. And for me, in this one, I do like to add in movement. It feels nice in the hips. So you can play with that. You can also move around the head and the neck. If you're really tight in the back, especially because it's still pretty early, dropping the chin all the way to the chest can stretch the muscles that are kind of interwoven around the spine. Just breathing. Thoughts will come up, things that you have to do after class, distractions around you. We're just going to bring it right back to the breath, to this pose, to this specific moment, being really present, noticing all of the subtleness. Just a little practice in mindfulness. Noticing the muscles that feel tight here. What does that look like for you? Maybe it's your inner thighs, maybe it's your back. But then also noticing all of the muscles that feel pretty fluid, that help you into this posture. Last couple of breaths. We're going to come on up so the spine is long. And then we're just going to lean back. So taking the hands behind you, lifting the chest, lifting the gaze. As you come back, you're going to bring the soles of the feet together if they're not already there. So if they are, you can just hang out where you are. We will all meet you there. We're going to take the feet pretty far away. Big diamond shape here. We're going to sit up nice and tall. We're just going to spill forward for just a moment, just as far as you can. Maybe grabbing onto the feet, maybe rocking a little bit here. You're going to slowly roll up, starting from the tailbone. The last thing you lift is your head. Everything is stacked. Easy twist over to the right, keeping the spine long. Gently gazing over the shoulder. Opposite direction. Come on back to center. We're going to drop the chin to the chest. Interlace the hands behind the head. So the weight of the arms is going to give you just a little stretch. Keep the head where it is. Release the hands. Slowly take the right ear over the right shoulder. Drop the right shoulder away from the ear. Take the right hand and gently place it near the left ear. Again, letting the weight of the arm give you that additional stretch. If you feel like you want more, you can reach the left arm out anywhere, maybe turn the palm up. Finding that sweet spot for you. And release, drop the chin, switch sides. Take that shoulder away from the ear. Maybe the hand comes up for a little extra stretch. Maybe the opposite arm moves somewhere. And a lot of times we do these stretches and we're just like, okay, I'm getting a stretch. I want you to kind of feel into it. Noticing the muscles that come up from the shoulder and attach to the neck. Do any of them feel really tight? We'll release that, drop the chin back to the chest, and then we'll take a couple of side-to-side circles. Back and forth. Chin drops to the chest. Head stacks back on top of the spine, sitting up tall. Roll the shoulders forward and up, back and down. Forward and up, back and down. A couple more times. Take one more big shoulder roll. And release. Let the shoulders and the arms be heavy. We're going to make our way onto our back. If you want to use a prop for your twist, feel free to grab one. So we're going to come down to the middle of the mat, and we're going to just start by hugging the knees in and moving it around. So just moving to massage the back of the body. Maybe release into the low back. And we're going to release the feet to the floor. And we're going to take a twist. So like I mentioned, you can use a prop, so it's more of a restorative pose, or you can not use a prop and it's a little bit more of a yin pose. So the twist that I'm offering up, you can change. So just honor your body. What we're going to do is we're going to take the shins parallel to the ceiling. The knees are on top of the hips. And then we're going to drop the legs over to the left, or whichever side you drop to is fine. We want to adjust a little bit so we can shimmy the shoulders down towards the mat. And if you're here and your legs just don't want to come down, or maybe that top leg is really high, that's when the support might be really helpful. So sliding it underneath or between the knees. Or if you just don't like this twist, you can twist a different way. So I like to have my hand on my thigh for a little extra support, but you can also just reach it out. Gaze is up towards the ceiling or maybe over the right shoulder. You're just going to take a deep breath and settle in. But while you're here, I want you to think about breathing into your rib cage. So not only the right ribs, but also the left ribs. Just creating space all around the torso. Those little muscles in between the ribs are called intercostal muscles. So as you inhale, see if you can give them a stretch. If you never breathe deeply, you breathe really shallow, those muscles get really tight. So now we're in a twist and we're breathing deeply, so we can create some space between each rib. We can stretch out all of those little muscles. And as we breathe deeper and slower, we tap into our relaxation response. We get out of fight or flight. Our body functions more optimally. When we're done with class, we feel more focused. Just little things that you can do outside of your yoga classes to take the benefit of the practice off the mat. Just breathe a little deeper. Be a little more mindful. Where can you soften? You're going to take your time. Find your way back to center and hug the knees into the chest. And this time, maybe you just want to hold them. Maybe you want to rock. Choice is yours. If you're using a prop, go ahead and take it to the opposite side. We're going to take the shins parallel, reach the arms out, and then drop the legs over. Adjust. So like I said, maybe shimmy the shoulders so you can get them on the mat. Maybe you're gazing over the left shoulder. Maybe you're just looking up towards the ceiling. Take your cleansing breath to settle in. And then breathe into the rib cage. Noticing what a full breath feels like. As you exhale, the shoulders surrender and soften into the mat. Making sure that as you breathe this way, you're not straining at all. So we never want to strain the breath. We always want to keep it comfortable. So adjust however you might need. That inhale is creating lots of space. And as you exhale, you're just kind of settling in to this pose, to the mat, fully supported. Softening for 30 more seconds. Moving very slowly, finding your way back to center. And just move or find stillness, whatever your body's craving. So dropping the knees side to side, maybe taking a full body stretch, whatever it is for you. Take a moment. And the last thing we're gonna do is hug the knees in, and we're gonna hold that as our last and final pose. Just bringing the knees in like you're giving yourself a big hug. Maybe you can grab opposite wrists or interlace your fingers. Just hold on to the knees. Make sure that your spine is long, like you're reaching up through the crown of the head. Tailbone is gently pressing into the mat. And just give yourself a hug. Feeling gratitude here for your body and everything it's been through with you. Feeling gratitude as you begin a new week, a new day. Just thank yourself for taking time out to slow down, to find stillness, to practice mindfulness. And take a deep breath in, hold it at the top. As you exhale, release your body. Coming into your Shavasana, feel free to just lay down and take up some space or to grab some props. Let go of any control of your breath. You are fully supported. Let your body just melt into the surface beneath you. Start to feel back into your body. Start to wiggle your fingers and your toes. Circle your ankles and your wrists. Maybe take a full body stretch, pointing the toes, reaching the arms up overhead. Hugging the knees into the chest. Just giving yourself a big hug. Eventually rolling to your side, pressing yourself up, finding a comfortable seat. Just sitting up nice and tall, rooting down through your sits bones, grounding yourself even more before you continue your day. Imagine that there's a string lengthening you up through the crown of the head. Take a few deep breaths here, filling up the lungs, expanding through the ribs. As you start this week, remind yourself to take some time out to breathe deeply, to breathe slowly, to breathe consciously. Just giving yourself a little reset whenever you feel like you need it. We'll take one last deep breath here together. Inhale deeply, reach the arms up, lift your heart, lift your gaze. Exhale, sigh it out, hands to the heart. Pausing for a moment, chin towards the chest, tuning into that sensation of gratitude once again. I thank you all so much for joining me this morning. I hope that you have a wonderful start to your week. Namaste. Thank you, ladies. Thanks for joining me this morning. Hope you all have a wonderful week. Looks like you got a friend there, Deb.
My grandson, he's on break.
Awesome. You guys can do yoga together.
He did. He came and was doing the Shavasana with us.
That's
I'm
the
gonna
best
have
part.
to get back in like 4 minutes.
Yeah, back to
And
it.
you're all relaxed.
Yay. Well, thanks for joining
Thank you,
me.
April.
It was good to see you. Enjoy your time off.
Thank you, April.
You're welcome.
See you Thursday, right?
Regina,
And that's it.
I'll be back next,
Oh,
but Regina will be teaching on Thursday.
okay, cool.
All right. I'll see you then.
Thank you.
Bye, Kristen. Have a good
Bye.
week.
Thank you.